Thing as funeral parlours in my youth. The persons were waked at home, and there was always somebody came along to dress the corpse, to prepare the corpse, and you had the white sheets for top and bottom, and you had always a special white spread, because you would have that got to be known when the time would come for to lay them out. And you had the brass candlesticks on the table and by the side of the bed, and the holy water. And
what would the corpse be laid out in?
In the bed.
No, but would they be in a habit?
Oh yes, in a habit. Oh gosh, you're right. Yeah, in a habit is right. Some people might have been in the Children of Mary and to be a blue habit, and other times to be a brown habit. Whereas nowadays they're dressed out in their best attire. Yeah, and then there was neighbours and relations and friends would be called to be making tea and sandwiches, because this wake would be going on from the day up to the following morning again. The people would be still coming and would sit around the house all night, and then there'd be a quarter cask of stout. They call it a quarter cask. That was the big barrel of stout, and there'd be a man or two, and there'd be glasses got from the pub, of course, pint glasses and half pint glasses got, and the men would have the men drinkers would be drinking, and there'd be sandwiches made and to be a night till morning, as they say.
And would there be any drink for the women?
Oh yes, there would be wine if they wanted to.
Yes,
yeah, there would, and tea, of course, as well, all night, and that should be going on till morning. They'd be all tired and they'd have to go home, and then the evening, the priest would come along then and bless the corpse, and the funeral would go to the church, and next day, the funeral would go to the church and the people go to the church, and next day they would go to the coffin would arrive and coffin them, and to go to the graveyard if there were natives of the town, and if their grave was in the town, to go to the town, and if they wanted to be buried in some other grave that they were from, they would go there, and the cars would follow them, or people the whole town that time would walk after the corpse to the grave. Men, woman and child would go, and then the shop fronts all had shutters, and they would put up one shutter or two in each window, and then the private houses would draw the blinds, and shops as well would have their door closed until the funeral passed. They had that respect for the funeral.
And have you memories of wakes in this house here?
Oh, I have. We had 2 wakes, one for my father and the other for my mother. Yeah. Frank had died in hospital, of course. But
that was your brother?
Yes, that was my brother.
Was there a tradition of having snuff or clay pipes in your time?
There was,
at the wake?
Oh, there was, but when my father and mother died, that kind of a tradition was gone. They weren't smoking pipes. I don't remember. There might have been an odd woman now with a snuff, and very, very odd. That was given up over the years, They would long ago before that, of course.
And who would dig the grave?
Oh, there'd be always somebody that should be friendly with her, or if you didn't have anyone like that, the what do I call it, the
Undertaker.
undertaker would have people to dig the grave. But we hadn't any grave like that. Tis a vault. Yeah, you had where my people are buried. The slab is overhead, like, and you had to go in the other side, to the church side, to open where the vault is there, and a good few coffins that fit there.
Is that the MacDonagh vault?
It is. So then when my husband Jim died, we put up another cross to say the names were written in this kind of a slab, and they're worn away out of it, and they put up this white kind of a cross. It isn't a cross, but a slab like that, to standing up, and all the names in before and after are on that. Yeah.
Did you ever hear tell of the Banshee or any other omens that somebody was about to die?
Oh, I did. I'd say the same. Yes, my mother always maintained that she heard the Banshee the night before my brother died. And she said it was like a wailing up from the river, because the river is behind our house here. And she was very upset then when she heard he was dead the next day. Yeah.
And were there any other omens? Did people see lights? Did you ever hear of anyone here seeing lights before somebody died?
Some short time before my mother died, my sister and husband and a few more were here, and I went out to take in some clothes off of the line at the back of the house, and I saw a light shining, and it couldn't have been an electric light any place at all. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it shone out near the back of the house, and I ran in. I was very frightened over it, because I had kind of heard about it before, and they all went out and nobody could see any light at all. And then May went in to see my mother in the morning before she left to go back to London, and she said, May, I was dreaming all night of poor Frank, and I thought he was behind my back shading from a light. And she died in the following week then. Yeah.
And your brother Frank had been dead before?
He had been dead before that. Oh, he had.
And were you scared, Tessie, when you saw
I was.
The light?
I was very scared. I couldn't get it out of my head, no. And more so then when she told me what my mother had said, about that,
As a child, had you heard many fairy stories?
Well, of course.
Or stories about haunted places?
Yeah, I used to hear about houses being haunted and that, but then people used to tell me that all that was only hearsay. There was no truth in it, about houses being haunted, and they'd be making out that the old Steinman house below was haunted, but it seems it wasn't true at all. They just say that kind of, I think it's the way they imagined a lot of it.